Top 10 Fastest Cars of the 1960s, Quarter Mile. Hello, and welcome to our YouTube channel. The 1960s were the golden era for raw, unadulterated muscle cars, because the emission regulations weren't much enforced. The muscle cars of the time embodied a no-nonsense approach to speed and power, supplied by naturally aspirated V8 engines. Performance was universally rated in the quarter-mile drag strip, where cars competed for the shortest time from a standing start to the end of a straight quarter-mile track. The distance provided a good balance between being long enough to allow vehicles to reach high speeds and short enough to be practical for racing. In this video, we'll discuss the top 10 60s muscle cars that were beasts of the quarter-mile drag competition. Number 10. 1965 Ford Mustang GT 289, 15.2 seconds. The 1965 Ford Mustang GT 289 is the iconic muscle car of the 60s. The car is remembered for its peppy little engine, although some car enthusiasts doubted its speed capabilities. The 289 cubic inch V8 engine unleashed impressive speed and power, proving it's not the dog's size, but the fight in the dog. The Ford GT's small block engine had an output of 271 horsepower and 312 pound-feet of torque. The engine was engineered to increase performance and high RPM reliability over standard 289 engines available in previous years. The 289 engine had solid lifters with hotter can timing, 10.5 to 1 compression ratios, a dual-point ignition, and a centrifugal advance distributor. Its smaller combustion chamber heads had cast spring cups and screw-in studs. The engine also had a bigger manual choke 595 CFM carburetor. The Mustang's 90-degree overhead valve engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, and power was directed to the rear wheels. Despite having a smaller engine, the car could compete the quarter-mile race in 15.2 seconds, while attaining a speed of 97.1 miles per hour. Number 9. 1969 Chevy Camaro Z28, 15.12 seconds. The last year of the first-generation Chevrolet Camaro produced an iconic figure among 1960s muscle cars. The Z28 option code was designed by Vince Piggins and introduced earlier in December 1966 for the 1967 model year. The 1969 model year became the jaw-dropper for its incredible performance. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 featured a high-output, small-block 302 cubic-inch V8 engine. Surprisingly, this engine could race within the 305 cubic inch class in the then popular Trans Am racing series. It had a 3-inch stroke crankshaft with a 4-inch bore, an aluminum intake manifold, and a 4-barrel vacuum secondary 780 Holley CFM carburetor. The engine had an output of 290 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque. It was mated to a 4-speed Muncie close-ratio manual transmission with a new standard Hurst shifter. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 completed the quarter-mile race in 15.12 seconds, attaining a speed of 94.8 miles per hour. Number 8. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO, 14.8 seconds. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO stood out for performance in the quarter-mile drag strip and excellent handling capabilities influenced by shared technology and engineering seen in the Chevrolet Corvette models. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO entered the market with a new design. It had a mid-body size on the updated GM A-body platform, which used a conventional drivetrain. The trophy inline 4-cylinder engine used in the 1961 to 1963 models was replaced with a 389 cubic inch V8 engine with hydraulic valve lifters. It produced 348 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO engine was mated to either a 3-speed manual with a column shift or a 4-speed manual with a floor-mounted Hurst shifter. The car was enhanced with a perimeter frame with torque boxes. Its chassis featured a short, long arms type independent front suspension with a .938-inch anti-sway bar, while the rear featured a 4-link suspension. The 1964 Pontiac Tempest GTO completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 14.8 seconds, attaining a speed of 99 miles per hour. Number 7. 1966 Plymouth Satellite 426 Hemi, 14.5 seconds. The 1966 Plymouth Satellite 426 Hemi was the epitome of understated elegance. Having debuted in the first year of the street Hemi, Chrysler equipped it with a mighty 426 Hemi engine. The V8 engine produced 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. The Chrysler Hemi engines, known by the trademark Hemi, were a series of American V8 gasoline engines. These engines were built with overhead valve hemispherical combustion chambers. The The first generation of Hemi engines was from 1951 to 1958. However, from 1964 to 1972, the second generation came with the celebrated 426 Hemi used in most loved muscle cars like the 1966 Plymouth Satellite 426 Hemi. Also nicknamed the Elephant engine, Hemi 426 was the epitome of high power, large physical dimensions, and heavy weight. These engines were produced for use in NASCAR, so they weren't initially available to the public until 1966. The Hemi engine in the 1966 Plymouth Satellite was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission or a 3-speed torque flight automatic transmission. The car completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 14.5 seconds, attaining a speed of 95 miles per hour. Number 6. 1964 Porsche 904. 14.5 seconds. The Porsche 904 was a car produced by Porsche in Germany. The 904 Coupe, manufactured from 1963 to 1965, was street legal under road traffic laws. That meant it could drive on public roads and racetracks. Though not the typical American V8-powered machine, it stood out as one of the quickest 60s-era cars. The 904 Coupe was first used by the factory team in the Sports Car World Championship in 1964, proving its performance capability. Numerous private teams raced the Porsche 904 in international series and national championships, such as the German Automobile Circuit Championship. The 1964 904 Coupe's mid-engine layout was inherited from the 718, the factory's leading race car. It was powered by a 120 cubic inch 4-cam flat 4-cylinder engine, producing 180 horsepower and 148 pound-feet of torque. The engine was mated to a 5-speed manual transmission. The 1964 Porsche 904 ladder chassis and fiberglass body made it more like a specialist racing car by enhancing its performance. The fiberglass body bonded to the steel chassis added extra rigidity, achieving a drag coefficient of 0.34. The Porsche 904 also rode on coil springs with unequal length A-arms in the front, which reduced vibration during the racetrack. The Porsche 904 completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 14.5 seconds, attaining a speed of 103 miles per hour. Are you ready for our top 5 fastest cars of the 1960s ranked by the quarter-mile drag strip time? Be sure to like and subscribe for more automotive content like this. Okay, back to the list. Number 5. 1967 Chevrolet Corvette 427, 13.8 seconds. The Chevrolet Corvette is a line of American sports cars manufactured and marketed by General Motors since 1953. The Corvette models have attained incredible performance records since the first year of production. However, the 1967 model year made an unforgettable history by showcasing the true capabilities of the series. The 1967 Chevrolet Corvette 427 was produced in the last years of the second-generation Corvette, known as the C2. It had a one-of-a-kind 427 V8 engine that ranked it among the fastest cars of the 60s. Referred to as the Big Block Tri-Power V8 engine, it produced 435 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. It was equipped with a 1282 CFM Rochester 3x2 barrel carburetor arrangement, hence the factory name Tri-Power. The massive engine transferred power to the Muncie 4-speed manual transmission, directing power to the rear wheels. The 1967 Chevrolet Corvette 427 was aggressive as it completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 13.8 seconds, attaining a speed of 104 miles per hour. Number 4. 1963 Shelby Cobra 260, 13.8 seconds. The AC Cobra is a sports car manufactured by British company AC Cars with a Ford V8 engine. The models were sold in the United States as Shelby Cobra and AC Shelby Cobra. The 1963 Shelby Cobra 260 is the essence of American sports cars. The 1963 Shelby Cobra 260 was designed by an American automotive designer, racing driver, and entrepreneur Carroll Shelby. Carroll isn't the first designer to have the idea of having the American V8 engine in a British frame. Cars like the AC 428 Frua, Gordon Keeble GK1 featured American V8 engines. The 1963 Cobra 260 had Ford's 260 cubic inch V8 engine, producing 260 horsepower and 269 pound-feet of torque. It was paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. The 1963 Cobra 260 completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 13.8 seconds, attaining a speed of 112.5 miles per hour. With a top speed of 140 miles per hour, the Shelby Cobra 260 could handle pretty well. The performance was enhanced with a 4-wheel independent suspension, which enabled each wheel to address the road undisturbed by other wheels. Number 3. 1968 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi, 13.5 seconds. Like the 1966 Plymouth Satellite 426 Hemi, the Dodge Charger used the same Elephant engine. The Hemi V8 engine propelled the success of this car. taking a position among the highest-powered muscle cars of the 60s. It completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 13.5 seconds, attaining a speed of 105 miles per hour. The Hemi V8 transferred power to the TorqueFlite automatic transmission, which directed to the rear wheels. Besides the elephant engines, factors like the B-body contributed much to the car's performance. The mid-size automobile also weighed 3,979 pounds, enough to enhance the stability on the road and not too heavy for the Hemi. Number 2. 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 Hemi, 13.32 seconds. The 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner was an absolute thrill to drive. It also had the Hemi V8 engine that propelled it to complete the quarter-mile drag strip in just 13.32 seconds, attaining a speed of 107.7 miles per hour. The powerful Hemi was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. The Roadrunner weighed 4,008 pounds, which the 426 Hemi hauled without much struggle. The 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner became a pure piece of American ingenuity, whose design has withstood the tests of time. It was not only tested in the quarter-mile drag strip, but also running hours on end at 200+ mile-per-hour speeds on big oval tracks. Number 1. 1967 Ford GT40, 12.32 seconds. The 1967 Ford GT40 was the car that ended Ferrari's dominance at Le Mans, a race they had ruled for years. During the race, the GT40 clocked an astonishing 212 miles per hour, showcasing its raw power and aerodynamic prowess. The 1967 GT40 was designed under the guidance of the renowned American automotive designer Carroll Shelby. You could tell the car had better aerodynamics to beat its rival Ferrari. Unfortunately, Ford only built 7 of them. A 289 cubic inch V8 engine powered the 1967 Ford GT40. It produced 306 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque. The Ford V8 engine was mated to a 5-speed manual transmission, and it completed the quarter-mile drag strip in just 12.38 seconds, attaining a speed of 112 miles per hour. The car had a top speed of 165 miles per hour. So which of these 10 fastest cars of the 60s is your favorite? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel.